we're making my family's secret recipe, chili. It is the most delicious chili you will ever have. I personally think. It's so good. It's even better the second and third day. So come with me, come learn how to make it. It is made a little bit different than what my dad used to make it, but it's still delicious. Hi! So today, as you can tell, I am making my family's secret recipe, chili. It's kind of a secret, kind of not. I make it all the time. I've shared it with my best friend, and I'm very happy that my dad he taught me how to make this when I was a little bit younger-ish. But today, I'm making a bunch because I am freezing some of it. Excuse me, I'm kind of recovering from allergies. It's been a little crazy and it's been super rainy. It's been actually raining today, so you'll see my dogs wandering around. I have one that's super scared of everything, so she's kind of right by my side right now. But today I'm using ground beef, and then I'm also using stew meat. I have my onion, I have my jalapeños, and I'm using my chili mix. I made this chili mix. It's not a hard recipe. I just found it online. I will list all the ingredients down below for you guys so you guys can use it too. And I adjusted a lot of it. You can have it either more spicier. I put more garlic in it. I also put like dehydrated onions in it along with onion powder. So you can kind of play with it, but you want to stick around the typical ingredients that are listed below. But if you choose not to, that's totally okay with me. And I do keep the salt light. I try to stick with what is on here, because I do use canned beans, and those can be really salty. And fun fact, I can't taste salt. So I do not know how much salt I put in my food. Hence, I don't usually salt my food. If I do, I will have my husband try it, my daughter try it, or my best friend try it. And they kind of help me figure out like, okay, that's too salty, or that's not salty enough, that needs a little bit more. So yeah. It's a very interesting fact. Tell me down below if you can or cannot taste salt. I would like to know if I'm just the only weirdo that can't taste salt. I'm gonna start cutting my onion. You just wanna dice it. It can be any size. I just kind of do a small to medium dice. Nothing perfect, I guess. And again, you will see me cry. I cry with onions every single time. So with this recipe, since I'm making quite a bit today, I'm going to use this whole entire onion. I would say it's probably a medium to large onion. Can you tell I like onion flavor? I used to not when I was a kid. I would pick them out, like the tiniest bits of onion out of my food. So my mom had to get clever with everything and like super finely mince the onions and mushrooms. I did not like mushrooms either. but she would have to like cut them so small to where like I couldn't see them, because I would literally sit there and pick every single onion out of my food before I touched it. But now I love onions. I will eat them with everything. I also think my husband had a lot to do with that. Sorry. Had a lot to do with that because a lot of the food that he would make when we first got married, like when we would have like tacos or anything like that, always had like onion and cilantro, and so I kind of had to get used to the onion. See, they're starting. I kind of had to get used to the onion flavor, and so he kind of helped me start like the onions, you know. Mushrooms took me a while. I like them now, not as much though. I can always do without the mushrooms. And like in my last video, you want to prep everything before you really start cooking, so you're not having to go back and forth, and that way you can kind of see what you got. So for these jalapenos, no, I'm not using all of these jalapenos, but I'm gonna make a salsa for my husband for later. But I'm gonna take, let's take probably like 5 jalapenos. And all I do, cut it down the middle, and then cut it down the middle. So you're gonna have a 4 little pieces like that, where they're separated, but still attached. You want it still attached. You can cut these up, add them into the chili, let them cook. I just cook them whole. That way everybody can kind of have their own whole jalapeno, and it doesn't, since the kids eat this, it doesn't add too much spiciness, and they're not having a chunk of jalapeno in their chili bowl. We can kind of like control that aspect of it. So just cut them down the middle. So what do you guys do for like a rainy day? My kids go outside and play. Instantly, as soon as it starts raining, they're outside. Doesn't matter what time it is. It could be 8 o'clock at night. It could be 8 o'clock in the morning. Whenever it is, they're outside playing in the rain as soon as they're allowed to. It's so funny. But they are definitely my children, because that's how I was. I would sit in the rain. I used to sit under our Suburban when I was a kid and just watch the rain fall, and the rain is just so soothing. So now I've already cut all my vegetables. I'm just going to continue using this cutting board, and that's okay. If you want to change your cutting board, totally fine. I will not judge you. And so on these pieces, I'm just going to cut them up a little bit smaller so I don't have chunks like this. I like bite-sized pieces. These are just awfully too big for me. So what I'm going to do is just cut them into bite-sized pieces, and that way you can kind of get more for your, just the 1 pound of meat you have. And don't be afraid to get your kids involved in the kitchen. I have ordered child safety knives. So they're kind of like a plastic knife, And my daughter's actually gonna hand it to me right now. But it gets them in the kitchen. They're not using these sharp knives. And you can kind of watch them, let them cut the onions, let them cut the jalapeños with the gloves on. So they look like this. I'll put a link down below for my Amazon where I got them at, and that way you can get them too. Adding this meat in, it always adds just a different texture. Instead of having the ground beef, you get kind of more a bite of meat, and it's pretty good. I like it. All right, now go wash your hands. So I will meet you right over here at the stove. Hello, welcome to my stove. So we are going to go ahead and start browning the meat. I'm going to brown the stew meat first and then the ground beef. You can do it together or separately. So turn on your fire. Always make sure you look, see what it's at. I am doing mine on a high. So I'm going to add some oil. This is a monster of a pan. I got this pan at TJ Maxx, and I think it was for, I want to say around $12 to $15. I don't remember how much it was, but I will find it online and I will put a link down below for this pan. I love this pan. I love all my pans. They're all non-stick. You can use metal on them, and you can use like the plastic, and it wipes clean. I mean, I have burnt some food in these pans before, and I'm not proud of it, but it all comes off, I promise. So we're gonna let that get hot and nice and steamy. And I'm just going to take these out. I don't want to overcook them. You just want them to be brown. because they're gonna sit and simmer for a while. And now that that's all out, I'm gonna go ahead and add my ground beef. So now I am going to go drain it. So now I am going to transfer this into the same bowl with the other meat. You want to turn your heat back on to about a medium high. We're going to go ahead and, my dogs are loving it. We're going to go ahead and saute the onions. I'm going to add a little bit more oil because you already have enough grease in here, just a tiny bit more oil. You don't want them to burn, you just want them to saute. So while these are sauteing, we're gonna go ahead and open up all those beans. So today I'm using the mixed chili beans. I find these at Walmart. They have the kidney beans, pinto beans, black beans, and chili sauce beans in them. I find these are great instead of buying, you know, a couple cans of each. I can save a little bit of money and just use like 4 cans per pound. That's my math to it. And yes, I know, most people will say beans do not belong in chili. To me, they do. That is how I grew up. I grew up in Oklahoma. That's how they are. Some Oklahomans have no bean chili. Some have bean chili. Just depends on where you're from. So these onions are looking great. I'm gonna go ahead and add the meat in. Listen to that. Go ahead and stir it around. Mix everything in. And you're wondering, when does the seasoning come in? Right now. I eyeball my seasoning in here. I want to say it's about 2 tablespoons to 4. I just eyeball it. Measure to your heart's desire, whatever you would like. You can always add more later on if it's not the right flavor. You'll know that chili flavor, if that makes sense. So I added about half of this bottle. Right around this time is when I start adding the beans. So you're gonna wanna add all these cans. I have 4, 8, 12 cans. Wow. It's been a long day for me. Go ahead and mix that up, get it all incorporated together. So you're not gonna wanna throw those cans away, as you wanna put 3.5 roughly cans of water in there, full to the top. Just look at your liquid, make sure it's not too soupy or it's not too thick. If you do get it too soupy, it is okay. We can always add masa. You just put a little bit of this. What I do is I add some of the juice in here, mix it together with just a little bit, kind of equal parts, or just eyeball it, and put it in here as like a thickening agent, and it works really well. And then you're gonna wanna add your jalapeños. Remember how I said before, you're just gonna quarter them? Just stick them right in there. Put the top on, set it on a low heat because you don't want it to completely boil. You just want it to simmer. And I would say you want to simmer for about 1 hour to 2 hours. The longer, the better, as it incorporates all those flavors that you have, and it just makes it really, really good. If you want it a little bit more spicier, you're more than welcome to add more jalapeños. I add this many just because I also have kids who are eating the chili. And they do like it spicy, but not really spicy like I would eat it. So what I do is I would add like extra jalapenos at the end as I'm eating it. But here's your chili. So the chili is done. I let it cool off for a little bit because it was really, really, really boiling hot. And let me go get a bowl. Now look at that. How delicious does that look? It smells so good. I let it cook for about almost 3 hours. I was kind of doing some housework and stuff, and I just set it and forget it kind of thing. But let's try this out. We're gonna do a little bit different with like nacho chips. Put some butter on there. I always have to have butter with my chili. I don't know, I think it just makes the flavor come out. It's creamier. I sometimes also add butter inside my bowl. I don't put it in the big pot as most people may not want it, but I love my butter. Get some of this pepper in here. These peppers look amazing. All right.
Eat it quickly.
Still very hot and heat hot, but very delicious. Wonderful flavor. That chili was spicy, dude.
You just made me want it.
Yeah. So my daughter is right behind the camera right now, just staring at me eating this bowl of chili. I just got a really bad pepper and I was like having a coughing fit, but it's so good. This is amazing. The flavors are so awesome. And really letting it cook for as long as I did really tenderizes the chunks of meat, and then it just makes it all just come together just so perfectly. Thank you so much for coming by to cook my dad's famous chili with me, the secret recipe that we kind of altered today. Go try it out. Make it tonight, make it tomorrow, make it this weekend. Just try it. You won't regret it, I promise. And remember, what works for you works for me. Have a good day.